But we've been interacting with the top market experts to help you gauge how you should be positioning your portfolio ahead of the big election event outcome. And in an exclusive conversation with ET Now, Mark Mobius, who's the chairman of Mobius Emerging Opportunities Fund, opened up about the election and his expectations from it. Let's hear out how he thinks this is going to shape the markets and which sectors to focus on.
I think there's a possibility that there'll be some disappointment if Modi does not get the majority in Congress and the amounts that of the votes that he gets is not as much as people expect. So there could be some disappointment in that, but it will be temporary. And I think at the end of the day, Modi, of course, will still be pretty much in control, and he'll be able to continue this incredible growth program that he has for the country.
Mark, when we spoke to you 2 years ago, you had only 3 stocks in your India portfolio. One was an IT company, one was APL Apollo, and one was again from the consumer space. But now I understand that you increased it to nearly 12 stocks. Is that correct?
That's right, yes. We're increasing because we believe that the opportunities are tremendous.
Why have you bought stocks like Bharti? Are you bullish on the telecom sector or it is something else?
Yeah, by the way, that's another sector that I failed to mention. I think the telecom sector is looking very interesting. Vodafone idea is particularly interesting. We're looking at that as well.
Did I hear you say Vodafone idea, Mark?
And also, I was mentioning Vodafone looks interesting. And in the power sector, by the way, I also wanted to mention that the power sector is particularly interesting. Such stocks as Ratan India, that kind of stock are going to be very interesting going forward.
Ratan India in your portfolio, I can also see there is Vari Renewables. This stock is done exceedingly well. Any reason why you've added Ratan India and Vari Renewable in your portfolio?
It's all about growth. At the end of the day, stocks like this are going to benefit from the overall growth in the economy.
I don't see too much of banks in your portfolio. I mean, the India romance, if I may use that word, has always been to buy into good private consumer-strengthening banks. But I don't see an HDFC Bank or an ICICI Bank or for that matter, Axis Bank.
Yeah, generally speaking, we have not gone into banks because of the lack of full transparency. I mean, it's not only true for India, but globally, we find that it's very difficult to know what the banks are having in their portfolios, what are the amounts of bad loans, et cetera, et cetera. So the opaque nature of bank balance sheets is something that deters us. But that doesn't mean that we will avoid banks completely, but generally speaking, we find it very, very difficult to analyze such companies.
When you come on television, and especially on ET Now, you would imagine that the world tunes in to hear you. And the minute Mark Mobius is talking stocks, the curiosity is why. Please get more, idea of what is the thesis here. Since you mentioned Ratan India Power and Vari, they both are very unique companies. One is into EPC stroke renewable. Ratan Power is the traditional power utility company. So are you betting on both the ends of the Indian power play?
Yes, both, because India needs more and more power, and it's going to come from coal as well as from renewables. I know people would like to get away from coal because of the environmental problems, but at the end of the day, you can't get away from coal. And that's not only true with India, it's true with countries like South Africa and other countries like that. Of course, everybody is getting into renewables, and the prices of renewable screens for solar is going down, but at the end of the day, it's just not enough to meet the incredible needs that India has. You must remember, if you have an economy that's growing at 7%, your power needs are probably going to be double that in terms of growth. So this is a sector that is going to be going from strength to strength in every area of material.
Mark, just want to get back to the point that you were making on telecom, because many believe, yes, I mean, surely Bharti is at an all-time high and so is Vodafone. But, you know, it's all linked to ARPUs and who's going to sort of bell the cat first. And with the big daddy like Jio, just everyone's sort of in the waiting. What do you have to say about that?
You know, at the end of the day, yes, no question, the competition is very, very keen, but the demand is also very keen. So regardless of which player you're looking at, they all are going to benefit from the incredible growth that's taking place. And of course, they're going to have to make investments to meet that growth, but the money is there and the demand is there. So they should be able to make good on these investments.
Interesting. You know, the other thing I'm very curious to know about is the point that you were making on railways, right? Because again, valuations and the kind of exuberance that you're seeing on these some of these you know, sectors is kind of a little scary. Tell me, is that a long-term call that you have, and are you not looking at valuations versus the growth story that this particular sector actually projects?
Well, what we're doing is looking at not only the operating railways, but the finance. India Railway Finance would be an example of the kind of thing we want to look at, and the people that are supplying the equipment for railways, the rails, the locomotives, et cetera, et cetera. So these are the areas that will be more interesting rather than just simply the operation area of the railways.
And need to look at the entire supply chain. Hi Mark, this is Anisha also joining in the conversation. But what do you do about the valuations in the public sector entities? Because yes, they have seen a massive re-rating in the last 12 months, and in all certainty it seems like the current government is going to come back to power. Do you expect this momentum really to continue, or do you think the bulk of the rally and the value has already been tapped into?
There's no question there will be a correction. The market has gone up so far and so fast and for such a long time. We are due for a correction, and a correction of 15 to 20% is normal. This may be on the back of the election. If there's disappointment about what Modi's election results are, you may see correction. But that does not deter from the overall growth that we're seeing in India and the recovery. So if there's such a correction, it would be a great time to be buying. But nobody can time it. That's the problem. So if you want to be exposed to the market, you've got to be exposed and you've got to be in the market, but maybe keep some cash on the side in the event of a correction where you can buy it.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.